Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance Good evening. Thank you all for being here. We don't like having our backs to you, but this allows us to see everyone. I just want to start this meeting by thanking Cassie and Bonnie and the district team for our dinner that was hosted tonight for our school board recognition. It was fantastic. Cassie is a very talented cook. I'm always excited to see what she creates, knowing that our schools get the benefit of her creativity. So good for you. Amazing. The first item on our agenda tonight is board calendar and public records request summary review. So I will ask the board if there's any comments, feedback on that. Okay, very good. The next item on our agenda tonight is the first reading of select board policies. And I appreciate the board for sending questions prior to this meeting and having some communication back and forth for clarity on these first read policies. And I just want to ask if there's any further discussion during this meeting. Okay, wonderful, thank you. Then those will, board policy, accountability goals, program evaluation, procedure program evaluation, ICAP programs procedure, the procedure, sexual harassment of students prohibited, and separation for employment will all move forward to second read as soon as all the questions are resolved. And now, I'm excited tonight. It's an honor to be here at Ording Middle School, and I will turn it over to Principal Collins and Vice Principal McBride.
Thank you, Director Thibodeau. Good evening. My name is Bella Austin, and I am the ASB President at Ording Middle School. It is my pleasure to welcome Superintendent Hatzenbuehler and the Ording School District Board of Directors to our school this evening. Tonight, you will have an opportunity to learn more about what is happening this year at OMS. Now, I would like to introduce our 7th and 8th grade choir, directed by Mrs. McCarl. Thank you, Mrs. McCarl. We appreciate all that you do, and our choir. Now I'm going to turn it over to Cheyenne to introduce our drum line.
My name is Cheyenne, and I'm an 8th grader at OMS and the ASB Vice President. Now I would like to introduce our OMS drumline and Mr. Breedling, who will be playing a few cadences at the end of the word. Thank you, Mr. Breedling and our drumline. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our principal, Mr. Collins, and our assistant principal, Mr. McBride, who will talk to you about the OMS vision and give an overview of the 2023 to 2024 school year. But before I do, I got a joke for you. Did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's fine, you woke up. Here you go, Mr. Collins and Mr. McBride.
Thank you so much, Cheyenne. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone here tonight. This is one of my favorite nights of the year, just to highlight the work we're doing. Before I get started, it looks like a lot of the drumline parents and choir parents left, but it is totally fine if you need to go with your student. If they were in choir or drumline, you can leave, but we'd love to have you stay as well. So tonight really gives us a chance to highlight the work that we've been doing, how it fits under our district vision. When we think about connect, inspire, empower, how do we fit into that? So we're going to highlight the work that we've done. A lot of the images you're going to see on here actually come from our hallways. We've really had an emphasis on positive messaging. So one of our secretaries made this sign here that goes up in our hall. And we're going to start with our vision, which here at Ording Middle School, we have a saying that we want all students and staff to feel safe, seen, welcome, and heard. We believe that that is foundational. When we talk about our district theory of action, of dignity and agency, it really is that first word, dignity. When we think about all students being safe, seen, and welcome, and connected to one another, particularly in those middle school years, that is absolutely essential. And then when we talk about agency, we're going to talk later about Falcon mindset and how we've really tried to actionize that here at Ording Middle School, and in pursuit of high levels of learning for every student. So I wanted to start with some of the big high-level celebrations for us over the last year since the last time we met in this place. We have a survey that students complete 3 times a year, and we are so proud of that number of supportive relationships because we've spent so much time on safe, seen, welcome, and heard. We find that our students are in the 84th percentile on supportive relationships, which compared to every other school that takes this around the nation, we're between the 16th and 79th percentile. So we are very, very strong in that area. Last year we saw a major drop in discipline incidents. Every quarter we had, you see in that first quarter last year, a 41% drop in discipline incidents. So that was a tremendous relief for us and for our staff compared to that previous year. Our grades over time, when we talk about academic growth and that focus on academic growth as a district, here as a school, we found in that previous year, in 21-22, for semester 2, you can see that there were 9.5% of the total grades issued were Fs. And that fell last year, semester 2, down to 5.9%. So we really spend a lot of time reminding students about grades and the importance of engaging in their classwork and communicating with households. And we saw that pay dividends last year. We're very, very proud of that. On our state assessments, again, academic growth. These are our current 8th graders. And so on the ELA SBA assessment, state test, they saw a 6% increase in the number of students who met standard from when they were 6th graders to when they were 7th graders. On the math assessment, we saw an 11% jump in our current 8th graders. So really great work and growth from our 6th to 7th grade and current 8th graders. The science assessment, we don't get to see that growth in a cohort, so these are different students, but we saw an 8% jump in the 8th graders who were here in 21-22 compared to the 8th graders last year. So they went from 32% proficient to 40% proficient. Big jump as a class. We've had a huge emphasis on every student participating in an extracurricular activity. Last year, 70% of our students were in a sport or a club. We just believe that's such an important part of being connected to one another. And as a district goal of that whole child focus, it really fits under that as well. So now I'm going to I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful assistant principal, Mr. McWright, to talk about dignity at OMS.
High school board, good to see you again. Thank you. Yeah, as Principal Collins mentioned, we have really tried to embrace the district vision that equity comes through dignity and agency. It's just a core belief of what we do in all our time together. We're really proud of the work that we've done culture-wise. So this has been a process. So this started at the district level when Kevin and I got together. So this is our third year where the concept of dignity was introduced, that it's different than respect. That you may disagree with a person's actions or thoughts or words, but that basic value that every human has. And so as leaders in the school, we had to make sure we understood that and that we believed that, which we do. We started with messaging around the school, but it's a slow churn where we had to get a lot of stakeholders involved. So once we felt like we understood the concept and we believed in the concept, well, then we took it to the staff level. And so in August, we asked the staff, hey, if dignity is a belief, is a core belief, and it's part of a Falcon mindset, well, what does that look like? If you're thinking about dignity, honoring dignity, and acting and sounding like, what would that look like? And so this is responses from the staff this past August as we looked to move from just the leadership level to the school-wide level. And a lot of words up there that are easy to agree with in terms of how dignity looks. And you may think that we're thinking just adult to student, but there's 4 components: adult to student, student to student, student to adult, and even adult to adult, how we interact as peers. So then, once we had the leaders on board, the staff on board, we were ready to hit the ground and take it to the students. And so every student, starting with the first time they step on campus and the first day of the school year, they're hearing messages around dignity, around the Falcon Way, about what it means to, let me back up one, to do things the Falcon Way, safe, respectful, responsible. We're really proud of the work, but you'll have a setback throughout the year and realize that we're not at the goal line yet. And we had some setbacks this year where we realized that middle school kids are saying the mean words, so we had to address that. And we had a school-wide advisory lesson to address anti-hate speech. This is just an age group where you're going to, well, society says mean words and this age group says mean words. So we were really proud of some staff members who were documenting every time they heard this scenario. And I give a credit to the staff that they actually spurred us to think, wow, we might need to take this school-wide with messaging and documentation and just the seriousness of the message. And then with respectful, responsible, safe, we didn't just say to the students, go be that. We taught it, we modeled it. There's actually a poster right there on that wall. So everywhere on campus, you see, hey, this is what respectful looks like. This is what responsible looks like. This is what safe looks like. And if you visit our school, I know you have these posters in the hall, they're in the office, they're in classrooms, we have one for the stadium, we have one for assemblies, just really modeling the behavior that we want to see in kids. And then we go look for positive reinforcement because so many of our kids are doing awesome things. I'm sure I know that you're aware of the Principals 100 program that you see in the newsletter. It's just so fun to acknowledge the kids that are doing positive things. The litter trap has become a kind of an OMS staple where we actually stage litter and then hide and then jump out and surprise kids with acknowledging their positive behavior. Evelyn Luna looks like she might be the school champion this year. So. During the sports seasons, we're right in between seasons right now, but during the sports seasons, every week in the newsletter, we'll call those kids down and acknowledge the ones that were named the Sportsmanship Award winner in each one of the contests. So you'll start seeing those pictures pop up again in the newsletter real soon. We've done a real nice job recognizing honor roll students who, to their credit, perform very high day in and day out and good on them. Last year, we actually took it a step further and acknowledged those with perfect attendance. And then this year, we went a step further than that and changed it to the honor roll and attendance celebration. So all of those students also attended what was formerly the honor roll celebration, but is now the honor roll and perfect attendance celebration. So we're really proud of our culture, really proud of all the ways we look for positive reinforcement. This is new this year, and it may seem like, how does a cell phone policy fit in with dignity and respectful, responsible, safe, but we really believe it does. Besides the fact that we're spending more time engaged in the content, but in reality, if you look at the data of this age group, there is a lot of harassing type interactions that are happening on social media platforms. So to take 7 hours a day when that is not happening, kids can feel safe and focused on learning. We're really proud of the way that worked, that has gone. We thought it would be tough sledding in year one, but it really has not been. There's a progression of violations like with anything. In the first quarter, we had 2 students out of 620 make it to one of the more severe levels of discipline. Second quarter, which we're wrapping up, 2 students have made it to that level of discipline. So to their credit, it's not about discipline, it's about increasing the content, taking away harassing scenarios in school. And we had students make some choices that did harm the dignity of others last year, where we realized we have kids who don't feel safe to go to the restroom right now. Who's going to learn when they don't even have the basic sense of safety? So really proud of that. And then also, we want to thank the district for their support. We were able to add co-ed cross country for the spring this year. Will be the first time of that, and the significance of that is 6th grade boys had no athletic outlet because football is the only boys sport in the spring, and 6th graders can't play football. So now they have an avenue or an outlet to continue, getting the energy out, but also representing the school, feeling connected to the school. So really proud of that. Thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. McRae. So the other half of that Falcon mindset, when we talk about high levels of learning for all students, our number one goal as a district is academic growth. And so we try to figure out what's going on with our students that's making them struggle with that academic growth. A big part of it that we found is mindset. And that really ties into the agency and putting agency into what does that actually mean for students. So again, we asked our staff, what does a student who has a healthy learner identity look like? Who has a strong sense of agency? And these are the things that they came up with. So these are the type of students that we want to build here at Ording Middle School so that they are empowered to learn in middle school and beyond. And we really defined it. We took this definition of healthy learner identity to help our understand, see what these things are. So when we're talking about academic growth in our math curriculum, we were looking for what's a math curriculum that really builds in where mistakes are an opportunity to learn. And so when we're talking about that, it really fits in with this healthy learner identity. We also have student-led conferences, so students take much more power over their learning and what they're presenting to their parents as their success. We've moved leadership to CTE, so leadership is a big way that students get out in front of the school, and they have projects where they really speak to our school. Falcon Mindset really is, when we talked to staff about this in August, it's the power of yet. And so just because you haven't seen it in that student today, doesn't mean you won't see it yet. And we really want to build that in students, to see that in themselves. Just because I'm not getting this problem today, doesn't mean I won't get it yet. And so the rest of our presentation is really going to be focused around what are we doing as a school to support our district goals? Academic growth, community partnerships and connections, student support systems. And we're really going to highlight some of the actions that we're taking this year that really focus in on that academic growth. And we're going to start with talking about our new math curriculum, which we are piloting, which is called Illustrative Math. And I'm going to hand that over to Ms. Beats, our math lead and one of our math teachers.
Hi, I'm Riley Beats. So I'm a math teacher at OMS, and back in May of last year, a handful of math teachers from OMS and OHS, along with some administrators, were sent down to Stanford to attend a training on something called the UQ Math Summer Camp. And at that training, we learned about an approach to teaching mathematics that I never experienced before, and I left Stanford just super psyched to try to bring that back to this school and show it to our kids. So we ran that summer camp back in June, and Amy was one of our attendees at the summer camp. And the way it works is we're essentially throwing a math problem in front of the students and sort of letting them just tackle it in whatever way they can think to do do it, and just letting them have free rein to attempt to solve the problem without much teacher guidance. So it kind of allows them to really take the reins and sort of understand that math is something that is creative, that they can figure out on their own, and that they don't have to be sort of like handheld through it. And it really allows them to kind of take ownership over the math that they're doing. And as we moved into the new school year, we also are piloting a new curriculum called Illustrative Mathematics. And it has sort of similar foundation to the UCube summer camp. So it also just allows for the kids to really tackle the problems on their own and sort of find their own strategy for solving the problem, and then discuss it with their team members. They do a lot of collaboration and talking about, oh, what strategy did you do, and did it work, and did we get the same answer, and why do we think we didn't get the same answer? And they really just discuss a lot of things, and then eventually we'll kind of bring it back together as a class and look at all the strategies we found and see which ones worked, which one we think maybe didn't work, and why didn't it work. And we sort of just let the students lead the math and let them sort of be the mathematicians in the room. It allows for just a lot of student voice, a lot of student creativity, and a lot of student collaboration. So it's been really cool to see. Damon here is going to talk about his experience this year with the new curriculum, so I'm going to hand it over to Damon.
My name is Damon. I'm an 8th grader in Mr. Scott's first period. The new math curriculum gives students more chances to share how to solve problems with each other. Our teachers are more focused on how to solve the problem rather than just getting the answers right or wrong. Using the Chromebooks to do math has been a challenge, but it should help us prepare for the state test.
Yeah, so we're super excited as a math team about the progress that we've seen with the kids and how much they're taking ownership over this. It's been a big struggle for all of us because it's a totally backwards way of teaching math that I've never experienced before. But we're seeing a lot of growth, and we're really excited for the future of this program. I would love to talk about math all night, but I don't think Mr. McRae is going to let me. So I guess I'll hand it back to Mr. Collins. Thank you so much to Emma and Damon for sharing their experiences.
Thank you, Ms. Beats and students. Up next, I'm going to introduce Ms. Murugi, our amazing art teacher. And she has a saying in art, engage and persist, which I thought really connected to Falcon Mindset. And so she's going to talk about stop motion video.
All right, and if I get my two ladies to join me up here as well. So I'm Leon Murugi, I'm the art teacher. This semester I have 2 photography classes, and one of our projects we just finished before break was stop motion animation. So the students had to create their own movies, 30-second movie minimum, all done by stop motion. Now that doesn't sound like much, but a 30-second video with stop motion is at least 300 photos. It's a lot of work. And I brought these ladies here to talk about the process and then to show off their awesome videos.
I'm Ella Mendenhall, and I'm going to be talking about creating my set. This is actually my set in the photo. And so we were all given half of a cardboard box to work with. And so first I started by cutting out some blue paper, and I glued it onto the back to create the sky, and same with the grass. And then I found some scrapbooking paper in the extra paper drawer, and I thought it looked like a sidewalk, so I decided to use it. And then I cut out brown paper in these triangle shapes to make trees, and I used cotton balls to make clouds. And then after I made the trees, I used more green to create the tops of the trees. And I also had a little house set up in my set, and I made it all out of cut paper. And then the Legos that you see in the background are the characters and extra things that I used. But it took a few days to make the set, but I was really happy with the way mine turned out, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Carla Russell, and I'm going to talk about creating our storyboard. So first I got a storyboard paper from Miss Marie, and I drew what I wanted to have in my have my sets and my characters look like at certain scenes. And so I had a guideline when I had my set and when I was taking my photos.
All right, this first video is Harlan's video.
Whoops, sorry, Santa. Hey guys, can I put your call?
Now, Harlan, what do you think was the hardest part about recording a movie?
Making the set and the characters look.
And our second video here is Ella's video. The movies only had to be a minimum of 30 seconds. Ella's was a minute 16. So do you remember how many frames your video was?
I think it was like probably 500 or 600.
500 or 600 individual photos. It's a lot of work. These ladies pushed really hard to work through it, and a couple other students here in the audience made some too. So great job to everybody, and we just like to really push them in the arts to create what they want to, not a bunch of cookie cutter stuff. Let them really explore and push to see what they can do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ella and Harlan. Our next area, we're going to talk about community partnership and connection. You may have heard at the middle school level, this is a really big risk area for students in terms of exposure to drugs and alcohol. And so we've really partnered with some of the resources we have in our community, including OSTOP, the OSTOP Coalition. And I'm going to bring up Debbie Reed, our drug and alcohol preventionist, and Bella Williams, a student, to talk a little bit about our partnership here at Boarding Middle School.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Good evening. So what we're doing is we're partnering with OSTOP, and they're the one who is already standing together on prevention. And it's our coalition here that we're looking at prevention, and they actually pay part of my salary to be here, and that's the reason why we partnered with them as well. The things that we have accomplished is since Mr. Collins and Mr. McBride started about the same time I started at the school. So we've gotten together and we're working in our partnership to do some prevention messaging and supports for students here in the Oregon School District. I work 2 days, I work here at the middle school as well as the high school, and they're 3 days a week. So some of the things that we've done is we formulated a prevention club called S4. So Bella, what does S4 stand for? Sorry, students, do you remember? Okay, This is her first time speaking, so really give her some grace because this is really, she had to do this last minute and everything. It's students striving to stay sober. And so it's called S4. And so what we do in the S4 is the Prevention Club, because I believe that using student voice and student agency, because they'll listen to each other a lot more than they will this over. And so, and also my secret plan is to train them up to do all the things about prevention, because the peer relationships and connections are really important. Part of my intakes that I do with them, one of the questions that I ask is, what makes you happy? What makes you connected? What makes you want to come to school? And 99.9 of the answers are my friends. And so the peers are influenced. So my question always is, how are you being an influence? If you're an influencer, how are you influencing? And so one of the things that the heart of the S4 is that students standing together on sobriety because they're striving to stay sober. And so that's what we're doing here in S4. We've also done a lot of activities as a group. One of them is Red Ribbon Week, where we had Red Ribbon is a time of the year when we honor a fallen person. His name is Kiki Rodriguez. And in Red Ribbon Week, what we do is we have a pledge to be drug-free during the whole school. So during lunches, we have an assemblies. We also had a DEA agent come here and do some information about fentanyl and the dangers of it. So that happened too. And then the kids pledge to be drug-free, and they all write down reasons why they want to be drug-free, and we put it up on a poster, and then we post it to all the kids. The other thing that we did last year even was, once we got the information about what the kids felt they were struggling with, we also put the agency as like, what can you do to help them? Because it's not, if this is their life and this is their experience and this is their friends and their peers and their community as well. So we're really coaching them how to be involved in speaking to each other, to give each other that messaging, as well as bringing it into the community. Because sometimes we get a lot of negative messaging that says that all these kids are doing all this stuff. So where's the voice and the presence of the kids that are striving to stay sober, that are striving for something different? So that's what we're doing. One of the things that we are working on too is looking at, we do a prevention poster contest. And so the prevention poster contest is when we get the kids to do prevention posters, and the kids that have the best posters, we're going to post all over the school and they get prizes. So, and OSTOP is also supporting that. We also did a family prevention night, a family education night this year, where we got a panel of kids that came to, two of my prevention group kids came and spoke as a panel. And so I'm teaching them how to do presentations and classroom presentations, and one of the hopes that we have too is being able to do classroom presentations and help with the elementary school as well. Because they not only need to learn how to be influencers to each other, but also the younger kids that are coming up. We have Drug Awareness Week, where we're having a guest speaker come in, and his subject matter is going to be Empower and Inspire. So it goes along exactly what we're working in as a school district. So not only do we as a school partner with OSTOP, but we as a school are also partnering with the DEA, we're partnering with other coalitions, we're partnering with other health departments, Department of Health as well, to make sure that we are getting out here at Orion all the services and supports and prevention that we can possibly do. So I'm going to, one of the things I want to talk about is our hope for the future. So our hope for the future is what we want to do is to give the kids the equipment, to equip the kids to do the presentations and stuff. There's called the Spring Youth Forum that is here. And so I want to take the Prevention Club to the Spring Youth Forum this year. And then the other thing is because it's going to teach them how they're going to do their own track of seminars and conferences so they can learn the information they need to do a good job. So this is Bella. She's part of my S4 Prevention Club here at the middle school. And I'm going to just have her share exactly what she's gotten out of being part of the Prevention Club and what her hope is for that too.
Hi, I'm Bella, and I'm here to briefly explain why taking part in the Prevention Club. The world has changed
changed so much over the past few years, and also added certain stress to our younger generation. The main reason I participate in this group is to make sure and make smart wise decisions when it comes to doing the right thing and if drugs come my way. This group has shown me and reminded me again and again that it's important to keep clear of these temptations and all for the people I choose to call my friends. This read has been such a great person to talk to and help me understand why I make these good choices and to maintain a clear mind.
Thank you very much.
All right, school board, I'm going to close you out with our focuses area 3 and 4. Goal 3 for us as a school is on the whole child. We're really excited about the things we're doing. I mean, sometimes the barrier in front of kids is not an academic scenario, but something larger than that. So you've heard lots of talk about the Falcon mindset, and we really work on that. That graph that we're really proud of on positive relations that showed us in the 84th percentile, well, right below that is one about grit and perseverance. That we're not as comfortable with that number, but we're addressing it head on. So we do things like promote the Falcon mindset. We actually call it Mindset Monday, where Principal Collins has messaging in the newsletter. We're on the announcements on Mondays, and then also in every classroom just talking about the power of yet, what grit looks like, what perseverance looks like, and we're excited about A, the room to grow, and B, the need to grow. We do Character Strong Advisory every Monday, dedicated around building connections with your peers and also addressing social and emotional learning. Again, the messaging we've done around anti-hate speech, we're really proud of. It's an initiative that we've kind of embraced this year. And, the message to the students was 2 things: be a role model against hate speech, and B, call it out when you see it. And we're seeing more and more of those. We're seeing less incidents and more upstanding behavior by the students. And as a middle school assistant principal, I could do discipline all day, every day. So we're really proud of this next initiative called the Peer Mediators, which I'm going to have 3 of our finest OMS students share information about.
Hey everyone, I'm Kira and I'm a peer mediator.
I'm Kiana and I'm a peer mediator.
I'm Morgan and I'm a peer mediator.
We're peer mediators and we help students with conflict by talking it out and getting each of the disputants' perspectives on the situation.
Yeah, we go over some rules. For example, meetings are confidential unless they are going to hurt her or himself or someone else, then we tell our coordinator.
We had a case a while ago that went so fast that we didn't have to ask any questions. All we had to do was go over the rules and they started talking about their own solution.
Yeah, some meetings can be long and some can be short. It depends on how long they make a solution and if they agree with each other.
We do it because we want less disputants to get in trouble and have school discipline and less fights to happen. We want everyone to be friends and to not have conflict.
When disputants have a conflict with each other, we can have them come up with a solution.
We do this to improve OMS culture, and also us peer mediators are so proud of how it's going.
I appreciate when the students don't want to come to me because they think they'll get in trouble, but what they're doing is so much more positive, and they're just repairing relationships and broken relationships. And we started them off with some softballs, and now it's gotten to the point where I'm just sitting in my office eating donuts, and I'm Morgan, assemble the team. You caught a case, so really proud of the work they're doing, and just so much more impactful coming from their own peers. I'm really excited about that. And then our final school goals around student support systems, and we've done a lot of work here. We don't have it mastered, but we're really trying. Students who receive special services, they're pushing in, meaning they're in classes with their Gen Ed peers, and just the mindset that we believe in is that how are you ever going to close an academic gap if you're never exposed to grade level content? So we're really proud of that initiative. It's a work in progress, but we're really excited that A, it addresses academic needs, and B, it addresses social status needs, which is a very big emphasis for us here at OMS. We added a multi-language teacher this year, Ms. Hires, who actually taught in the boarding school district in the early 2000s, and I don't know that I knew that when we hired her, but really excited to have that connection for her too. And so she meets daily with students that come to us from other countries and doing really positive work there. Falcon Time, as you're aware of, is a 30-minute section we have each day where the students can address academic needs, missing tests, maybe they were absent and missed assignments, but they just have dedicated access to any teacher they need to go see every day, not Fridays, but Monday through Thursday. So that's an intervention that we added specifically to address academic needs, and it has a lot of positive successes. Small group SEL, you heard me mention Character Strong Advisory, but in addition to that, there's also a dedicated Character Strong component. For example, this one is like a targeted behavior, so not just community building, not just connections, but this example is specific about self-management. So a smaller group with a teacher that's trained to use this curriculum, just working on literally one specific behavior or action, and improving groups in that manner. Newest this year is the Peers Group. It's a partnership with Behavior Bridges. We identified students we thought could benefit from skills, improving their skills around social skills, handling conflict, making friends. We just wrapped up session 1 and session 2's first meeting was this past Tuesday, so I'm excited to see that grow and become a thriving partnership for students who need it. We're going to close with a new initiative called the Falcon Fellas. This is a group made up of 7th grade males, and sometimes if you work in middle school, just hearing the phrase 7th grade males can make shivers go down your spine. But this is a group that has tons of leadership potential it's untapped. They just haven't had opportunities, so prepare yourselves for the Falcon Fellas.
I'm Colby. I'm Bentley.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Shoni.
I'm Walter.
And we are the Nutty Bunnies! We're an energetic group of 7th grade boys. We don't mean to cause problems, but sometimes we can get a little off track in the classroom. Our official name is Falcon Fellas, but we like to call ourselves Nutty Bunnies!
Mr. McBride came to us with an idea to work on leadership opportunities to foster our student leaders and to also help with school culture. It's been a pretty cool experience so far.
Some of the ideas we are working on is an OMS TikTok page that promotes positive messages and sharing our news about what we're doing, and a school-wide bingo incentive at lunchtime. For the holidays, plastic hearts and Easter eggs around campus around the holidays where kids can find them and turn them in for candy prize.
And we're going to be doing a school-wide flag football tournament and a school-wide Fortnite tournament and helping out with the upcoming OMS food drive.
We're excited to support teachers to see us doing good things for the school and make our school a better place.
Okay. Outro music.
I had a feeling that group had leadership potential when I posed the idea of speaking. Like a lot of students maybe were nervous to present tonight, and they were like, "Oh yeah," they wrote a script. They brought their own speaker with some intro and outro music. So in addition to just acts of service, which I think are awesome for this group, we also discussed what are the traits of leaders. Like every middle schooler, that group has made some missteps in their middle school career, but they have just incredible charisma and potential, and you're going to see them in leadership roles next year and also in their high school careers, and I'm super excited for that group. So, yeah, I'm going to hand it over to Principal Collins, and thanks for your time.
I'm sure you understand just how proud Earl and I are of our students tonight. When you see that and what we're doing, what our students are capable of, it's just extraordinary. So I'm so happy you have all come here to see that. We have amazing students and the things that they're doing, and we appreciate the support you've given us because it impacts us every day, and we know that you're there for us. We have a wonderful school, and we're so proud of it, and if you have any questions for us as we wrap up, I'd love to answer them if I can. Before I do that, sorry, I want to thank all of our students and staff for coming out tonight. You did an amazing job, and I'm so proud of you. So, handing it over to school board. I'll hand it to you, Director Tim.
Thank you. Board comments?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to compliment our school leadership, the principal and vice principal here. I don't know, I think you saved the best for last. Your peer mediators, the lovely young ladies, and the Falcon Fellows, the Nutty Buddies. I mean, you can't end any better than that. And honestly, for adults to look at something that everybody else sees as potential trouble and see and recognize an amazing quality to be able to bring that out, bring it to them, and have them run with it like that. You kids are going places, man. I am so impressed, and I love it. I'm always in awe of coming here and being treated like royalty. We get private concerts and drum lines that keep us awake after an amazing dinner. And I took a bunch of notes here, but your mindset is phenomenal. You have specific plans based on specific needs, and I love to see that. And when you presented the data, having shown the previous year to this year, I love that as well. So much that I could go on and on about, but I pass. Thank you very much.
Love and everybody's, but I have a challenge, maybe some Falcon Phillies too, because I know some girls that like it. It's had to be a class clown instead of class leader. So, it's good. I wanted to share with you guys a wonderful story that I just told Mrs. McCarroll before the beginning. So my grandson is one of the Christian students in general ed, and he adores choir. Mrs. McCarroll is his favorite. And we gave her a gift at Christmas, and she gave him a thank you card that he read to me at Christmas. And when he was through reading it, he turns to me and goes, "Yes!" Because he was so excited that the teacher had given him a card. Thank you. So that's the kind of connections you guys have.
Well, I honestly enjoyed every single part of the presentation. I love that you recognize students and take their strengths and use them that way instead of to the negative. But I have to say, I loved the art projects. I mean, I looked at it, I was like, I could never do that. How does that happen? Now I feel really old and really, I don't know, but it was amazing to me to watch that. But I was thinking as I was doing that, if I would have had something like that when I was in school, I would have loved that class because it's actually hands-on, they're learning things, they're taking charge of their learning, and it was amazing. So, really do.
Yeah, I just want to say, watching all the students come up and share is amazing, and the art is phenomenal. Watching the choir come in and sing in the drum line, the peer group, it's just awesome to watch how you guys are pulling this together, and how even the staff and everyone all has that goal that you guys envision. So you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
And one thought that has gone through my mind in previous years is that my experience going through school, and I think as adults, all of our experiences going through school, is so different than what our students here are experiencing. And from my view, it is so much better. I want to definitely applaud the students for standing up and being leaders and exhibiting the characteristics and qualities that we hope to continue to see as you move through the middle school to high school and into our community. So shout out to our students and our parents for raising these fine students. And also shout out to staff and your leadership for finding creative ways to channel the energy in middle school. I continue to be impressed every year. You're continuing with the threads that are working, the programs that are working, that are making a difference for our students, and then layering on. Falcon Fellas, I'm expecting big things from you. Aiden, that's you. So anyway, I want to thank you for sharing. This is a gift to the board for us to be able to see your success and to celebrate with the kids. So thank you for sharing with us. This is the part that always has to remind me of board meetings riveting. They're so exciting. You're welcome to stay, but if you want to escape and go home to your families and other kids and the students get some rest tonight before school tomorrow, you're welcome to leave at this time. Yes, come to the art show. Thank you for the invite. There should be an invite in your email. Yeah. I love that. There's so much that we impressed in a short period of time, but really appreciate it. Okay. The next item is board comments. So board, do you have anything to discuss or?
I guess my question is, how will the math curriculum that they're using now transfer over to the high school level? Because it seems to be much different than typical math.
Great question. I'll answer that. Instead of Dr. Rab, although if you want to call him up, you certainly can. We have been pursuing math pilots K through probably 10th grade, I would say. So at the elementary level, we've been piloting various math curriculums. One of those is similar to the curriculum that you heard about today, same company. And we're also beginning that process at the high school as well, really looking at where there's state assessments. We're not talking about calculus or pre-calculus, but through Algebra 2. So we're reviewing and piloting curriculums. We're planning to pilot at the high school, engaged in pilot process, middle school, piloting K-5 right now. So what we should have by the time we finish all of that piloting and review is a revised comprehensive math program, K-10. What will come from there is some of what we've talked about, the ground benchmark assessments, ways to determine are students making satisfactory progress, are they on track, how do we know, so we can, as best as we can, replicate the intervention system we saw K-5 with our English language arts. Secondary schedule is a little bit more difficult to do that, so elementary, they have kids all day, and we have set aside blocks currently for math and ELA intervention, so we'll still have to figure out how are we going to intervene once we know who's on track, who's off track, that sort of thing. But it should, by the time we're done, have a very seamless transition from the time they enter all the way through that tested area in Algebra 2.
Thank you, good question. Anything else? All right, then I'll move on to our April 25th? January 25th. Yeah, January 25th, we're hosting our virtual town hall planning discussion. It's bond related. And just wanted to talk briefly as a group about the format of that. Something that has worked well in the past has been for Ed to do, we would do a welcome, it's hosted by the board. Ed would provide an overview, and the board would each pick up some topic of discussion that's important to you to share with, and then answer questions from the audience. So what I would like to hear from you guys is what part of the bond story or bond message would you like to talk about?
So the chunk, so if we follow a similar process to what I shared with you, if you think back to that December regular board meeting, and I shared that presentation as we're sharing with staff or community, it's the same presentation we did with Lions. We kind of told some stories that led into how we got here, so the community knows from the time we started to the time we ran this bond, what's transpired. So some big areas that we might speak to, or that I think we should speak to. The idea that this was community-led and anchor back to the Citizens Facility Advisory Committee, and the fact that it took a year and a half to really review the state of affairs, enrollment projections, the condition of the facilities, and that the committee, the community-led committee, made that recommendation to you. I think that's an important piece to the story. I think sharing survey results, how we gathered community feedback along the way, and what did those results share, that would be a slide and a talking point that I think is important to share. Because your action related to this bond was really a derivative of the community-led process as well as the stakeholder feedback. I think the growth, a lot of our constituents in both the CPAC and the community area were concerned about overcrowding, so telling the story or sharing a slide or two about the growth, what's already here, as well as what's coming are important. One of the eye-opening slides with the Lions Club are those slides I shared with you that show, here's the overcrowding issue today. If we do nothing 3 years from now, here's what it is. That was an eye-popper. So I think that might be a slide that we might share. Changes in the bond. So what happened with the last bond, price point, 150 million, to now 117, and what does that do with the affordability factor, and why did the board make those reductions, and what's in those reductions, I think, is another important part as well. So what I think I heard from Director Thibodeau, particularly based on Joanne's feedback and how it was received with the Lions, Matt Carlson and I would take all the different items that are included in this bond. Here's what's happening at Ording Elementary, Ptarmigan Ridge, the high school. We would take those elements. It's really kind of those talking points that feed up to that point, that if we have each of you 5 share a talking point related to one of those areas that I mentioned, then that was kind of the idea. Then we have the board's voice as how we got here and how we made the decision as a board to move forward on this bond, and then Matt and I can take it from there and share, okay, here's what's included and what you're going to see embedded in this package.
So we have time to plan and prepare for this. It's not until the 25th. Thank you, Ed, for outlining, I think, those topics. I think that would flow nicely for people. So I'm going to check in with you guys. Is there a piece that you're passionate about that you'd like to take the lead on?
We went to every meeting and we kind of pushed this virtually. I was just talking to a friend of mine, a teacher from here, who explained the process we went through, and she was amazed because it was such a thorough look at what we had and what we didn't, and we didn't have. So, need to maybe mention transportation. Transportation.
So if I got that right, I'm just taking it for myself, to make sure. So you want to take the point when it comes to the community-led processes. Well, I mean, they're also important, but I don't really think that I have anything over another I would like to discuss. Maybe the survey results and the feedback and how we utilize that and why I personally and we as a board felt that that was so important.
I think that's good, and if there's another angle too that you wanted to talk about, we're open to that.
As you're thinking about this, what I will do is have a draft of a slideshow, and I'll add some anecdotal bullet points, things you might talk about just as a prompter, and then that way we're all operating from the same slideshow, and I'll have you be editors so you can kind of customize it how that makes sense to you. So we'll put a structure together and some bullet points as we go from today, and so you'll have that next week where we have plenty of time to review and think through what we might say.
I was just going to ask, are we tying safety with overcrowding? I mean, the discussion. Safety, it'll be, I mean, overcrowding would include safety.
As we kind of unfold, we have embedded talking points about the examples of what would be different, and so we do speak to the safety and health factors that are in this bond. When we think about that, we think about the keyless controls, the heating, the cooling. We don't really go into a direct tie because that's really hard to make that link between what's overcrowding doing and a link between bullying or discipline. I think that's related, but it would be hard to make that point from a data perspective. Say if we do this, then you'll see something happen on the discipline side. I don't think we can make that.
Heading in that direction that we're wanting to secure our schools, right? So that would be the security side of it, where we have, I've been on several different school sites with work, so I know that they have the lock, basically you gotta come through two of them and the doors are locked. So I know that we don't have that in ordering, so that's huge. Closed campus, yes, yeah. That they're secure, right? No one's able to store them.
With that, if Melissa takes survey and feedback, I can create a separate slide. One of the areas that you as a board were adamant about as we formed this package are that we address those big areas around safety, health, security, overcrowding, career preparation. So I can separate survey, what did it say, and then create a slide that would lead us to that if one of you want to speak to either the growth factor or what are the big goals we have as a board embedded in this bond. And you could speak to whatever talking point that from the heart around that safety, health, overcrowding, or career preparation, because that's, as a board, when you listen to that feedback, that's what you led and how you prioritized actually what's in this bond using those filters.
I'm fine with the overcrowding. I don't.
What I'd probably be willing to look at is probably looking at what the overall bond from last time that we were trying, the 150, and maybe what we've subtracted to in the priorities that we're looking at, right? Why we've come up with the number that we did. It's all online, right? It's, yeah, okay.
Sorry, just commenting that this will be a virtual town hall. There's obviously a lot of opportunities to talk with us in person throughout the district between now and the vote, but having a virtual town hall made it easy for families to join in last time, so we want to do that again. Even if people are driving home, they can listen in, or folks from Tahali can listen in easily. So that's why virtual makes sense for this one on the 25th. So just to recap, welcome the beginning process that was community-led and the work that the CPAC did, making the recommendation. That's Kathy. Melissa will talk about how we gathered feedback and the survey results that led to our decision to do this again. Joanne, you're going to take growth and overcrowding. Oh, gotcha. Safety, health, security, overcrowding. And then Mike, we'll talk about how this one changed from before to this one with the reduced rate and total aside for the one package. And then Ed and Matt,
Just a little bit, I think we're going to try to that's probably the overall cost, and we heard everyone. So we
listen, made changes as a result of that. Yeah, no sports. And then Ed and Matt, you'll pick up what this current package includes, and we can have a plan. So next step will be looking at draft slides from you, and then making any adjustments before looking at the
He pointed out that the common thread here is that there's been a lot of give and take with the community and a lot of communication back and forth. And trying to reflect that. And I'm really happy to do it. I think I'm up.
I think the other, I get it, try to speak. The other one is, right, that we want to make sure that they know that we listen to what they have to say. That's basically where we're going to go. And that this was a hard decision to even, come back with this. So, yeah.
Thank you. I just kind of wanted to, I like the format that we're going with. I want to kind of quietly, gently suggest that when we are at our points and we're doing our little bit of this, we try not to go too far off of the section that we have. I don't, because I know that we all have very strong feelings about this, and I know that we are all on the same page. I just don't want to spend too much time saying the same things over and over again, and thereby eliminating the opportunity for anybody who shows up to have a question or to have a comment. And I know that as far as the safety and security of those things, if we are being discussed not only at the at the very beginning with CFAC, having those things come to head, and then with the survey results, knowing that that was also there, and then you can also talk about it in growth, and you can talk about it again when you talk about the changes in the bond. I don't want to get maybe into a rut where we're just repeating the same thing over and over again, just by 5 different voices or 4 different voices. So that's just my only I just want to be conscientious about that, to make sure that what we're doing isn't repetitive, because it's important, if that makes any sense.
with 5 speakers, we're already at half an hour into the meeting. and it is a town hall, so we want to make sure, yeah, to your point exactly, we want to make sure that people have time to ask questions, and so we'll have to be concise and not ramble and stay on point.
Try to. Are we going to try to do a topic or say Kathy speaks right down there, and are we going to open it up to questions at that time? Or we kind of move through, everyone talks, and then we'll just go from that point? Okay.
Good question. We'll have 7 speakers. I will reduce the amount of slides because anytime you introduce more speakers, you're going to have more time. So I'll reduce from what you saw. I would suggest no more than a minute to a minute and a half for each of these topics. That'll give us about a 12 to 15 minute total overview. Joining us that night online will be Matt Rumbaugh, Principal Architect, Liz Leroy, Owner's Rep, Trevor Carlson, our financing expert from Piper Sandler. So after we share, and I believe Carrie will draft some language so she can share the overview, but if we're talking 12 to 15 minutes, that leaves ample time for question and answer. So as you practice, I would recommend we all stick to no more than that per slide. That way we should have enough time to not only get the content across, but engage in Q&A. And like we did a year ago, we can just look to see who's the best expert based on the question that comes. Some of those you may want to answer. If you get a question about growth, like I think that would make a one for the board. Why did we look at CPAC that accepting the growth is good for the district? That might be a board question, or it might be a question that you may wish to defer. So we'll have to kind of be a little bit organic on the Q&A side. But that would be my recommendation for the presentation, 12 to 15, no more, or we lose listening space.
Should be with give and take with the community. And if you hear that, you might wrap it up once May 6th.
You're good? Okay. We'll iron out details. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Before I adjourn, so it will be an executive session. We'll have an executive session after our next meeting. So please, materials posted in your box. We're all anticipating it. Some of us more than others. And I just prepare for that. It's entering. What's this though? Yeah, it says review. So the rubric is in there. We've looked at it before last month. So I think we're prepared. Just to remind everybody. Yeah, it's all attached in Word docs.